Subscribe now and you'll get a free gas station sushi if you can run fast enough. Sequels. That unfortunate concept that always waters down a perfectly fine franchise at the end. Luckily though, that's mostly movie side problem. Actually, when I started making this video, I was also kind of considering making a movie version out of this too. What sequels do I want? But after a good long hard pondering, I don't think I want sequels for my movies. I like my movies the way they are, so a well-told story, just one and done. Sometimes sequels work, I ain't saying that, but the more they work, the more they're gonna push out, and the more they're gonna suck at the end. I mean, not gonna lie, Friday the 13th, I could take endless amount of sequels, cause, well, the idea is just to watch how Jason kills people, so who gives a shit? Anyway, game sequels. See, in gaming, I can take sequels, endless amount of sequels, cause it's mostly about the gameplay. Although I do actually enjoy real good stories in games too, but that type of games, yeah, I really don't want sequels to them either. But mostly when it comes to games, usually games like to put the effort into gameplay, and when the gameplay is fun, you don't really give two shits about the story. You just want to play because it's fun. Anyway, I think I've set this video up enough here, so let's get on with the... I got seven sequels I want for games. Alright, and we're gonna start with classic franchise that actually started... First game I played, the first game in the series, came for Amiga 500. Actually, the first game also came for Sega Mega Drive, and I don't know which one it came first. Also, I think Super Nintendo, something like that. Probably like every machine back then in the early 90s. Yeah, I think the Amiga version also came early 90s, yeah. That wasn't an 80s game. No, definitely not. I could check, but I'm lazy like that. From what I know, this franchise has 5 games and it died on PlayStation 1. If I'm wrong, please do correct me, because I would like to play more. Actually, I haven't played all 5 either. I played 3, maybe 4. And the franchise I'm talking about, I only have 1 game for it, unless I have some of those games in some kind of collections. Because I know I played other parts in the series. Home, here. I gotta have those some way, one way or another. Anyway, it's the Strike series. Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Nuclear Strike, Soviet Strike, and Urban Strike. Yeah, those were the ones. And I only have Nuclear Strike. Now, I haven't played this. Yeah, this is actually the one I haven't played. I have this, I bought this from a flea market, but I didn't have my PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 hooked up, or I just bought this and just never got this, which is a shame, because now as I'm looking at the back cover, I kind of really want to go back to this, but Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, those I played the most. Desert Strike probably the most. It was fantastic. I saw it at a friend's place on Amiga 500, and man, I was hooked. Every now and then, if I come across it, I'll give it a whirl, except I haven't come across it in, I don't know, decade. Also, there was Urban Strike and there was Soviet Strike, and I'm pretty sure I had Soviet Strike and I played that on PlayStation 1. Because I don't think I ever played this, Nuclear Strike, but I played one on PlayStation 1. Anyway, what is the Strike series? It's chopper games. Well, except this one. This one has like Harrier, A-10 planes, battle tanks, and attack hovercrafts, but yeah, it started as a chopper game. Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, and all the other Strike games except this one, they had a chopper. You flew around, it had this kind of isometric view. You flew around the battlefield and you tried to destroy targets or perhaps save some hostages or something like that. You went around and you were just bringer of destruction with your Apache or whatever. Blew enemy places to shit with your missiles. You had your Hydras and you had those bigger missiles, what with Tomahawks, or those were maybe a bit too big. Those are usually shot from like big cruiser ships or something like that. Cruise ships, Caribbean cruise ships. I don't know that much about weapon technology. I used to know more because, I was a kid. I was really into war games and all that kind of, but nowadays, I'm not really a pacifist. I like punching people, but if they deserve it, or if they just look weird. But a new Strike game, where is it? Why did it die? PlayStation 1 era. I mean, I'm sure it didn't sell that well, but hey, it's been like 3 decades? This one came out in 97. Almost 3 decades? Come on! Give us a Strike game, new Strike game. I want to fly around in a chopper and just spread fire all over the combat zone, whatever. I mean, if the problem is the name, because every game had different name, Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can help you with that. Maybe there's big corporations that are mishandling their workers, giving them shitty pay and all that, so the workers revolt and steal a chopper, and you could call that union strike. Or maybe there's evil karate gang that you have to stop, you could call that strike first, strike hard. Or my personal favorite, maybe there's a foreign country that's navy has invaded your waters, so you have to stop them and, hop in your chopper and go and spread death all over the water. You could call that seaman strike. Anyway, strike game. Give us a new strike game. I'm just gonna move on. Next game series where I really need a sequel is a driving series, driving franchise. I have no idea why this died. Oh, that's right. Because the company that actually came up with this franchise was bought out by EA, and I think they released only one game in the series for EA, and that was it. Well, that's the usual way EA works. They buy a company, they release one game, and then they axe it, because they really don't know anything about making games. They're really innovative when it comes to figuring out new ways to suck the money out of gamers' pockets, but when it comes to making actual good games and keeping the series alive and all that, giving players what they actually want, yeah, that's really not their strong suit. Anyway, you might have guessed already. Burnout 3, which is the best one in the series. Burnout 3 Takedown. Burnout Revenge, which I gave it a try. Didn't really play this that much. I kind of, because when I bought it, there was already a Burnout Paradise out. I actually played the PlayStation 3 version. I have that one there too. And I remember that this came for PlayStation 4, but no, it was the remaster. It actually came for PlayStation 3. That's how long it's been since we got a last Burnout game, from what I know. If you know something else, please do inform me. I really appreciate it. Now that I think about it, I'm vaguely remembering some kind of Burnout game which just looked like shit. Was it a mobile game or something? I don't know. Oh, and Burnout Dominator, I have this one too. And there was also Burnout 1 and 2. I had Burnout 2 for GameCube. I played it that Burnout 3 Takedown was just so much better, I couldn't really go back to Burnout 2, and I don't think I even want to give Burnout 1 a try either. Why would I? God damn it, I kind of want to start playing Burnout Paradise Remastered now. Now that I remembered again that I have this. I do believe there were also a couple of Burnout PSP games. Maybe PS Vita game? Not sure on that, but yeah, there were a couple of handheld Burnout games. Now what are Burnout games? Burnout games are games where you drive fast. The hint is kind of in the name, burnout, because you burn your rubber and you go out. I'm guessing burnout means something like that. You go fast, you try to drive dangerously so you can fill your burnout meter, so you can get your turbo boost. You can drive faster, even faster. It gets insane. Burnout 3, I never actually beat that. I played shit tons of that when it came out on PlayStation 2. I was just a young little boy, and those later levels where you get like Formula Car and stuff like that, it goes so goddamn fast. It's insane. Yeah. I tried. I even had friends try, and fuck, no, it just, my eyes can't keep up. Those were probably some of the most fastest, most difficult races I've ever tried. I played Wipeout. I suck at Wipeout too, but I never had that much trouble in Wipeout. I think in Wipeout the stages were more clear. Actually, I could have put Wipeout here. I kind of want new Wipeout too. But we're talking about Burnout. But enough about racing. Burnout 3 Takedown, that actually introduced a new mode in the Burnout series where you have to drive into traffic jam and just try to lay waste as much as you can. You just try to hit everything and you try to make everything explode, and there was some, I can't remember really that great, but Burnout 3 had that kind of, if you hit enough stuff you got an explosion or something. I can't, it's been so long since I played that, but there was some kind of after explosions thingy that you could really lay waste, to other cars. It was so glorious. And Burnout Paradise, that one also had kind of that type of mode, but that was open world, which I'm not really that big of a fan of open world driving games. I think they kind of make it aimless. You drive so much around that you might get kind of bored, so when it comes to the actual races, at some point you give up more easily, because you're driving into every race, and then you have to drive the race too. I just kind of want to more get into just straight into the race, and that's it. But that one also had all kinds of hidden stuff you could collect, so there was more point to racing around, on your own, freely out there. And yeah, that one had that kind of mode. You were just driving, and then you triggered it, and you were just exploding in the middle of the traffic and kind of trying to swerve your car wreck to hit as many things as possible. It wasn't as good, but it was still fun. I still played a ton of that. But Burnout, give us a new Burnout. Next game I really want a sequel to. I've talked about this several times on this channel before, and it seems like game developers aren't listening. I'm starting to think they're a bunch of fucking apes. They're just dumbest people on earth. Game developers. Screw you. I'm kidding. You got all kinds of things you need to do, but this series, and it's a game series. It's only one game. And guess what's the only console you can play this with? PlayStation 2. Oh, it's a Konami game. We're probably never gonna get any more of this, so this is it. Ring of Red. What is Ring of Red? It's kind of a mech game. You have your mechs, and there's a battlefield, and you take turns moving them. It's a turn-based thing. And when you initiate a battle with the enemy, it turns into this battlefield where there's usually, I think there was just a straight road, and your mech was here, the other one's mech was here, and you also had usually two teams. You could have, two small units, which were just people. Some had machine guns, some had bazookas, some had something else. It's a while since I played this, so lately I've been kind of feeling though that I really need to hook my PlayStation 2 and play some more older games again, get back more into retro. And Ring of Red, I really want to get back into this one. Yeah, it says here, World War II robot tank action. The mechs they're not like modern mechs, like Armored Core or Mech Warrior. They're this old kind of steampunky style that move really slow. The battles were just so intense. I always loved those because there was this meter that was rising. That was the percentage how good you were gonna hit the enemy once you took your shot. So you kind of had to evaluate how long can you let the meter fill up, and when's a good time to take your shot. Obviously, the more you shoot, the more you hit, the better. But if you start going rapid fire, you're not gonna hit anywhere. So yeah, that was such a unique, great aspect. I miss it. There's no game like this in my knowledge these days anywhere. That sucks. And you had those two platoons. You could take shots with those, or maybe they work automatically. Like I said, it's been a while, but they could shoot like a bazooka and hit the enemy. The enemy robot's hit percentage would go down again. So there was a lot of elements. Those battles were just so intense because you had to be patient, but at the same time you wanted to take risks just so you could beat more easily and maybe not get your mech so fucked up, because you had the same mechs from start to finish in the same battlefield. So if you took a lot of hits in one battle, the next battle you were gonna be all blown out. Really great tactical aspect that isn't just utilized anymore. I'd say the tactics in this and those Shadow of Mordor games, the Nemesis system, those are two probably the best systems in games that nobody uses anymore these days. Well, the Nemesis system in those Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of Middle-earth, whatever games, they had that patented. Those motherfuckers, they denied the use of that system for everyone else. Fuck those. But then again, those are these days owned by Warner Brothers. How's your gaming site doing? Not really that well, I've heard. I hear you're laying people off. Yeah, I hear you suck, fuckers, but Ring of Red, bring it back, Ring of Red 2. Konami, if you're watching this, come on, I know you're dicks, but you can still kind of save your face a little bit, so it's a long road to be redeemed, and this would be a good start. Although I've heard Silent Hill 2 remake was a good start already, but this would be a great continuation to that. Next game I don't have physically, but that's cause it was never released physically. Yes, that's right, I'm promoting a digital game here, digital only game here. When's the last time I did that? Probably the last time I mentioned this game. I haven't mentioned this game that many times on my channel, but anyway. Again, EA, you're sitting on a pile of gold. But no, you're just not cashing in. What's wrong with you? These days, gaming companies, they're in trouble. Everyone's, scattering. AAA games, they're fucking things up. You have the power to make things better, Puzzle game. I played the sequel, got a platinum trophy. Guess how long that platinum trophy took? Guess. Take a guess. Take a wild fucking stab at it. I think I played like 4, 5, maybe 6 years. That's how long I played your fucking game, EA, and you haven't given me a sequel. The first game I couldn't play because that wasn't on PlayStation, that was on Xbox, but once I got Xbox Series X, that was one of the first games I downloaded and played, because it's so great. And the series I'm talking about, or franchise, is Peggle. Now there was a new Peggle game, if you don't know Peggle, it's the one where the screen is full of dots, and there's your ball up here, and you have to shoot it and try to get all the orange dots, so you beat the level. But the levels get harder, there's all kinds of traps and walls and stuff like that you have to deal with. But also you have kind of your special guy here. You kind of gain those special characters as you move forward, but everyone had kind of their own little special thing. Like one guy, you could get this line so you could see where the ball was going to bounce, so it would make targeting easier. One guy had this kind of, you hit an orange ball and it would explode all the orange balls near it. So that one also was great. Then there was one that went through all the other balls except the orange balls. No blue balls for that guy, only orange balls. But it was so addicting. I played it almost daily, like I gave it a few goes. I played it from start to finish plenty of times, and like I said, I got the platinum trophy for Peggle 2, and it took time. The first Peggle, that's only on Xbox, so my Xbox is actually down there on the floor. It's keeping my light so it won't fall, and maybe if there's a spider I might squish it with that. It's a pretty useless console these days when the games are coming to PlayStation 5. Apparently everything, so what the hell am I gonna do with that? It's if I get robbed, I could just offer it to the robber and say, take that, I won't tell anyone, and yeah. But Peggle, there was also a mobile version, which sucked. I tried it. I mean, mobile, that's actually where I first found Peggle. That was 2 decades ago almost. But the new one, you gotta put money and shit, and it sucked. Screw you, give us Peggle, EA. And a new Strike game. A new Burnout game. Fuck, you own everything! You cunts! Next game I'd really like a sequel to, or franchise. There's 2 games only in this, so can you call that a franchise? I don't know, I don't make the rules. But this was fantastic. It started on PlayStation 2, ended on PlayStation 3. Short-lived, and it is one of the funnest open world games I've ever played. It's the Stormare Destruction Simulator, also known as Mercenaries. But let's face it, no one ever used the other 2 guys. Everyone played as Stormare 1 and 2. Mercenaries World in Flames and Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. This was so good. You were rampaging around North Korea, I believe. If I remember correctly, it's been a little while since I played this. And you could grab tanks, you could grab choppers, and that's not all. My favorite part was you could order in airstrikes. Later in game you got, the bigger the airstrikes you got, they were like small surgical strikes if you wanted to just blow up one building or something like that. And by the end, you got those carpet bombings. They were insane. Now my mind might be playing little tricks on me, and they weren't as big as I remember, but I remember them being big and really, just cool, and you could level down everything. I mean, the buildings and shit, if I remember correctly. Yeah, these games were what Just Cause should have been. I mean, Just Cause, you can keep all the mechanics, the parachute and the hook, you got, and all that. Those were fun. But one of the things in Just Cause that always pissed me off, you couldn't destroy the buildings, all the buildings. You could only destroy those that were destructible, and they weren't all the buildings. So that's why I was always kind of disappointed in Just Cause games, because it looked like the kind of series where it would be really fun to just destroy everything. But Mercenaries did it better. Also, Just Cause. If they're ever gonna make a new Just Cause game, how about adding in those airstrikes? They'd be sweet. And how about adding in better Stormare? That would be sweeter. Just get rid of that Rico dude. Give us better Stormare Destruction Simulator 3 or Just Cause 5 with better Stormare. Ditch Rico. But yeah, I believe the developer was Pandemic and publisher was LucasArts. Oh, except second one, where the publisher is EA again. Yeah, that's apparently a dead series. We'll never get more mercenaries. Thanks a lot, fucking EA. I've given you plenty of options here. You release sequels to all these, you're gonna be kings of the world. Don't go with that live service bullshit. We've seen enough. It doesn't work anymore. Ditch it. Second last sequel, and I'm gonna throw a little curveball here. Spider-Man games. I'm not saying bring us a sequel to Spider-Man games. We just got two the other year. Now I know Spider-Man 2, the story elements, they half of them kind of suck. Mostly the Miles Morales half. The extra stuff that was so stupid. It was, yeah, it kind of dropped the ball on story-wise. Although Venom was cool. The first one had a great story, but let's not kid ourselves. None of us played Spider-Man for the story. Why exactly did we play Spider-Man games? Because of the movement around the town. That was so fucking cool. It's so smooth, it's so great, it's just fun. Spider-Man games are one of those rare games where I never used quick travel, because I loved moving around in that city. It was so smooth, you know. But what if I was to tell you there was another series of games that did the swinging thing before Spider-Man? And while the last game in the series we got wasn't really that great, I liked it. It was like solid 7, maybe 6.5, but that's not the point. I saw a lot of potential there, and I really loved it. And the first game on NES, it was great. I never got anywhere. As a kid, I never beat the first level because I didn't understand English enough. I didn't know what to do there. As an adult, I gave it another go, and I beat the first level, and I think I might have even beaten the second level, but there was this part where you had to, because the main character also had this kind of bionic arm that you could use to swing around. Oh, it's Bionic Commando. I got the first one for the NES, and I got the PlayStation 3 Bionic Commando. Anyway, on the NES version, the second or third level, you had to swing from the roof over this pit or something like that. I could never do that. It was kind of shitty. You had to build this kind of momentum, do that, but it was a bit off. It was NES, NES physics. So now on PlayStation 3, we finally got sequel, Bionic Commando, just Bionic Commando. And this one went 3D. It's a third-person action game. In this one, you were also swinging around in this destroyed apocalyptic city almost. It was like post-apocalyptic city. The swinging wasn't really... obviously it was nowhere near the Spider-Man level. But I think it had, how would I describe this, in kind of a mechanical, physical way. It almost could have had a bit more satisfying swinging than in Spider-Man was just fast-paced. He was a superhero, Of course, there were no obstacles that were gonna really slow you down, because that would ruin the game. But in that one, you kind of had to rely more on the momentum. It's been a long while since I played that, but I do remember I dug the swinging, but it had its quirks. But I do believe if they were to release a new Bionic Commando game, they could really fix that shit, make it really good. It has the potential. There's something about Bionic Commando series that I just love. It's just so great. Even though I never got, the PlayStation 3 one, I actually beat that game, and I went back and played some more, because I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. I think with now technology being more advanced and coding and all that and engines, we should really go back and give it another go. It's owned by Capcom, so yeah, Capcom. Just think about it. There was also shooting. You had one arm that had the swing, and other arm you could use all kinds of weapons. You're thinking, one arm you're gonna use like pistols and submachine guns. Does that look like a fucking pistol to you? That man's got muscles. Remember those? Back in the days, gaming characters used to have muscles. They weren't weak. Now it's more realistic. They had muscles. Duke Nukem. That's sad. Spaghetti. But yeah, I really actually enjoyed Bionic Commando, and I do recognize its flaws and all that. But I really think that's a game series that deserves another go. Come on, give it a go. Just maybe give the main character another hairstyle. The dreadlocks, it was such a weird character design. Compare this to this. Okay, this is like a poor man's Flash Gordon. That's pretty awful. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'd take that. It's got that retro feel to it. It was Bionic Commando, but with a Flash Gordon flair. How about that? I'd play that. I'd get it. I'm suggesting it. I have to get it. And finally, we're down to the last sequel I want. Actually, there's a lot more sequels I want, but last of this video, because I decided to cap it to 7. 7 it is. I'm showing 5, I know, my other hand is holding the games. I'm not mathematically challenged. Well, I am big. I'm not great at it, but you know, I'm better than a clam. I can count to 7. Even though it doesn't look like that. Now this series not getting sequel after PlayStation 2 is probably the biggest crime against humanity. I don't know what happened. Did this not sell well? Because everyone who's ever played this is saying these are the shits. Everyone's saying these are their favorite games. Everyone's saying these are the best. Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. I think even Brett the Hitman Hart said that. No bullshit. Although to be fair, I played the sequel first and for years I heard that the first one's really great too, and I gave it a go when I started collecting Retro 2014. I didn't give the go back then, I gave it a go like probably closer to 2020. Yeah, the sequel's better. The first one, it's just not on that level. It was fine, but it was kind of a bit boring looking, dull looking. The mechanics were fine. PlayStation 2 era, I'm not saying that. I think if I would have played this back on PlayStation 2 when it first came out, I would have loved this more, but yeah, the sequel it's just... Anyway, the games I'm talking about are Dark Cloud and Dark Chronicle, which is Dark Cloud in North America, Dark Cloud 2, but here we got Dark Chronicle. I didn't know this one had first game in the series for the longest time, because here in Europe there was this gaming show during the 90s or early 2000s on our TVs, and I saw this there, and they were really saying that this was a great game, so I got this because of that. It was a game show called Tilt. It was pretty fucking awesome show. I think one of my first childhood crushes were on that show. I still remember her. Every episode she had a different shirt. I remember me and my friends always talking about how can one person afford so many different shirts. That's insane. I actually won a game from that goddamn show. Yeah! Now I remember. Infamous. Or was it Infamous 2? No, it was probably the first one. Yeah, I remember. She called up, actually, that during that time they had a different person on screen there, different host. Not, they all looked great. Not saying that, but the first one was... hello. You wanna hold the games? There you go. Anyway, yeah, Dark Chronicle. Dark Cloud, Dark Chronicle. What? Why are you twitching? Stop twitching. Oh! Come on, get up. Get up there. What, you need a boost? You're a cat. You can jump like 20 feet. You catch birds. I mean, you don't, because you're an indoor cat, but... Well, actually, you once did. That was pretty awesome. We saved the bird, so it got away alive. No, don't sleep there. Oh, your ass is in my ear. Where was I? You totally just ruined my train of thought here, you little furry shit. Stop sniffing Bionic Commando. Anyway, so the second one, Dark Chronicle, this was fantastic. Third person, adventure, RPG, action thingy. Where you go around, there's different dungeons and kill all the enemies, and you try to build at the same time your kind of a new town. I don't remember all the storylines that well. It's been a long time since I played this. I've been thinking about going back to this. It says back here over 100 hours, so that's a lot to play. So you can actually get these for PlayStation these days. Both of these, I do believe they are in. I think you gotta have PlayStation Plus. I don't have that because I don't play, live service crap. Plus, I buy all my games physically, so it's not like I'm gonna need those free games from PlayStation Plus. I got plenty of games I haven't even tried. And this was so good. I was really impressed by the cutscenes and all back in the days, and well, maybe not the cutscenes. Well, they were great too, but the overall atmosphere, just the first town you leave, it had that kind of French feel to it. It is a kind of JRPG style, but except it's not turn-based, it's real-time action adventure, hack and slash pretty much. I don't think you really leveled up in this, you more leveled up your weapons. I always loved that system in this, because you had your weapon, you had whatever weapon, there were different weapons. You could also level up, update those guns or weapons. You had, now I can't even remember if you have to, there were two main characters. Oh, you can switch between them. I wasn't sure if you had to pick one or the other, but you can switch between them. Yeah, now it's starting to come back at me a little bit because I played using both, and I didn't play this through twice because it's such a long game. But like the boy Max, he had a wrench and he had a gun, and you could find new guns and new wrenches. And when you wanted to update or level up those guns or wrenches, you could always kind of choose between 2 different paths. I think sometimes there were even 3 different paths. You needed different items to go with either path, and it was always it had that kind of random element. Well, not random element, they were obviously which path you took, you got the things that you got, and they were always, kind of longer branching trees, so you could level up them a couple of times, whatever branch you decided to take, but you never really knew what you were going to get, so there was that element of surprise. I always dug that. That was such a fun thing, and also there was fishing in this, and one thing I really loved about this, after you had beaten dungeon, you had to play the game bit further, but you got a golf club, so you could go back into dungeon and play mini golf through the dungeon. It was just fantastic. I loved that. That was so great. I spent way too much time playing that mini golf game, and also I believe you could level up your golf clubs too. Then on top of that, there was that base building, town building thing, and you had to find people in the town so it could grow and build them new houses and stuff. Basically where I'm getting here is this was magnificent game. It was alright too, but this was magnificent game, and ever since I beat this, I've been waiting for a sequel. This came out 2003, over 2 decades ago, and this was fantastic, and I've never heard anyone hate on this game. I've actually never heard anyone hate on this game either, but yeah, it just didn't click with me as good. But this is just so much fun. This is so goddamn good. I do love it. Who made this? There's no logos, nothing. It just says Sony Computer Entertainment, but because I have this vague memory that these were made by Level 5, not Atlas, but Level 5. Both are great companies, but yeah, and at one point there were pretty strong rumors about Dark Chronicles or Dark Cloud 3, Dark Chronicles 2, Dark Cloud 3, whatever. Those seem to have died down. What's with that? Why can't we have a sequel? I want sequel to Dark Chronicle, Dark Cloud 2, but keep the graphical style and the music. I loved that. It had the first time we started, it had that kind of small French village vibe. I was really into that. And also you had a camera in this. You had to take pictures so you could. I actually can't remember how that worked exactly, but I think you could build new stuff and get new ideas from pictures. And sometimes you had to take pictures of the bosses while they're doing some certain attacks and all that. It was so much fun. This is a perfect game. This is a fucking fantastic game. I love this game. This is so awesome. This and Ring of Red, probably 2 games on this list that I'm waiting for sequels for the most. I've been talking too long. I'm just gonna go now. So fuck off, and I'll fuck off, and we'll meet back here when I upload more crap. Movie sequels? I'm not really that down with them, but game sequels, yeah, those I like. Movie trilogies are fine, but you should kind of always stop with that. Star Wars, it's been watered down. There's been some good, but it's just really watered down. It's not what it was back when we only had the 3 movies. Because back then, everyone wanted a sequel. And once we started getting sequels, everyone kind of went, new Star Wars. Anyway, this isn't about movies. I'm just gonna fuck off and yeah. Goodbye.